Guys, I have such sad news. It is the end of Patreon week. But to celebrate, we are going to explain a song from one of the greatest rappers of all time. And that is the socially relevant, lyrically eloquent Kendrick Lamar and his song, How Much a Dollar Cost. If you wonder how is it possible that we get to hear explained such a good song from To Pimp a Butterfly, the answer is Christian Bray. Christian is one of my patrons over on Patreon, or down in the description Patreon. He supports me at a level that allows him to pick one song a month for me to explain. He allowed me to save his January pick for Patreon week, and I am so glad that we get to talk about this song. I hadn't really listened to it before, and it is really deep and really interesting. And it even gets into some interesting biblical imagery where Kendrick Lamar might be comparing himself to Moses. So yeah, pretty awesome. But if you guys want to help me pick songs or get access to the Still Needs Explaining podcast where I explain anything that you guys request, check it out in the description down below. But let's chat. When asked by a reporter what the song's deeper meaning is, Lamar replied, "Help as many people as you can, man, if you want to live forever." So kind of that idea that by speaking into other people's life, a small part of you is preserved and allows them to go on to be able to do good, bad, or whatever things. And Kendrick tells us that the song is based on a true story, and that's because this song is about giving $1 to a beggar in South Africa. Kendrick Lamar had been visiting Johannesburg, and he was approached while getting gas pumped for his car by a man asking for basically $1. Kendrick Lamar told the guy to leave him alone, but the guy wouldn't, and then said some crazy things that we'll get to in the lyrics. But about this experience, Kendrick says, "These are moments in my life deeper than just handing somebody $1. These are actually moments of integrity, actually being able to talk to somebody. Me talking to him was simply a thank you from God, and I felt God speaking through him to get at me." And the premise of the song is, what if so-called bums weren't just asking for $1, but really they were like an angel in disguise or something like that. And Kendrick says that being a good person around them is more than just giving them $1 too. It's about having the integrity to actually be willing to talk to them and not think of them as lower than yourself. Because when Kendrick talked to that man in South Africa, he felt like God was speaking to him through that man. The person said, "God bless you, this is your calling," and Kendrick felt like those were actually words from God. And I feel like this song is maybe Kendrick's version of Eminem's Stan. Eminem had this mind-bending experience with a fan that showed him the power of his position, and Kendrick is having the same here, except that maybe it's coming from God through a beggar. So basically, Kendrick Lamar pulls up at the gas station, hopping out his luxury car, feeling like he's on top of the world, and he's doing a great job of developing the scenery here. Based on this song, Kendrick Lamar could be writing literary level short stories. He says 20 on 6, referring to the pump. He didn't hear me, indigenous African only spoke Zulu, my American tongue was slurry. And he's developing the people here and drawing the picture so well. A homeless man with a semi-tan complexion asked me for 10 Rand, which is South African money for basically $1. And Kendrick Lamar assumes immediately that this guy just wants to use it for drugs. Told him beat it, contributed money just for his pipe, I couldn't see it. The guy responds though, "My son, temptation is one thing that I've defeated." And Kendrick Lamar says, "Still no," and ends the verse, "Tell me how much $1 cost." The guy keeps staring at him, locking eyes with him. Kendrick Lamar's temper is building. He's staring at me. His eyes followed me with no laser. He's staring at me. I notice that his stare is contagious because now I'm staring back at him. I never understood someone begging for goods, asking for handouts, taking it if they could. The guy just keeps staring at him until he asks, "Have you ever opened up Exodus 14? A humble man is all that we ever need." Moses was supposed to be the most humble man ever, and it seems that based on this reference to Exodus 14, which is where God uses Moses to part the waters of the Red Sea, that the homeless man is in a way perhaps calling Kendrick Lamar a Moses for other people. This could be a reference to some of the work that Kendrick does to talk about some of the struggles that the African American community experience. Kendrick Lamar in verse 3 starts justifying his actions to himself. "My selfishness is what got me here. So I'm gonna tell you like I told the last bum, crumbs and pennies, I need all of mine. And I recognize this type of panhandling all the time. I got better judgment." And he keeps going on and on and on, I know what you're coming at. I know that you just want money. I know you're gonna waste it, until the guy turns to him and says, "Know the truth, it'll set you free. You're looking at the Messiah, the Son of Jehovah, the highest power, the choir that spoke the word, the Holy Spirit, the nerve of Nazareth, and I'll tell you just how much $1 costs, the price of having a spot in heaven. Embrace your loss. I am God." And that's where that verse ends, and it's basically Kendrick using this guy, even though those aren't the exact words that the guy used, to say, hey, You should not just dismiss people because of what you expect of them. What does $1 cost you to give somebody who needs it? Just $1, not much. And he's not saying like, oh, you should feel guilty, this person's gonna die because they didn't have your dollar to buy food. He's saying, what does it do to your own soul? If you close off your soul in bitterness or suspicion or anger towards other people that you don't even know, what does it cost you to not give that dollar? It would have cost Kendrick Lamar maybe the opportunity to talk to somebody who he felt like God was speaking to him through. So maybe for him, not necessarily something so grand as like his eternal salvation, but definitely an important experience. And we don't know what the cost will be for us personally, but it could be something. And Kendrick is saying that it's worth the risk of losing a single dollar. Anyways, guys, this song was super deep and super awesome. You should definitely be listening to Kendrick Lamar if you are not, including particularly his album To Pimp a Butterfly. And yeah, I don't think there's much more to say about it. What's a good Kendrick Lamar song for me to explain next? Don't forget to check out my Patreon in the link down below. Lots of cool perks for you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.